So if we double click into the footer, we're in there, and you can see that the header and footer details have come up. These are slightly different to what we normally see on the ribbon. And we can see that you've got page numbers there, and if you go into the bottom of the page, etc., we can see all the different types of page numbering that you can use. But also in this feature, you can see just along here that it has a different first page, and that's being ticked. So you take the tick out and it would put the page numbering in, and then pop the tick in, and then it's now removed. And that would then start this page at 1 of 18. And you can, if you wished, you could right click on that because that's a field. If you click on any number or any item in a Word document and it's grey, when you click on it, that means it's a field. So it can be edited, and it could be, if you want, you could actually reformat it. So you go into this format pages instead of edit field, and you can go in there and you can get it to start at 1 or start at 2, whatever it is that you want to do with regards to that page numbering. So that's a really good way of getting into there. Another little tip while we're in here is if you click on the Find, still on the Home tab, if you click on the Find, you can use this feature on the side here. You can use it to look at the headings on large documents, so you can jump around quite a lot. You can expand and collapse these as well. So if you don't want to see the detail and you just want to see headings, you can do that. You can look at the pages, really good way of jumping around and seeing what's going on. And then you can see that we go all the way down to page 18, and then the pagination in here starts differently. So we've come to our appendices. So if we look at the Appendix A, we've got different page numbering here. So what's happened here is it's been typed in page A, and then there's a field. If we right click and edit field, we put the pagination in as 1. You can update, preserve the formatting if you wish, but the break is a section break next page, which means that that 18 of 18 does not continue. It breaks the link between this and that 18 of 18. This breaks the link, and also if you look at this link to previous just here, now hover on it, this is what's used when you want to break the link between pages. So first of all, you have to use the section break next page so that it understands that you've broken the link as far as the page is concerned from the previous, and also that would have to be activated. Now if I click on it, it will ask me if I want to delete what's in there and connect back to the previous section. I don't, but it is there, so always remember that link to previous. It's used when you're linking up and continuing numbering, page numbering, as you're going through a document. Back into the main document again. We've looked at main things. So we could look at some page numbering if we wanted to use this, for example. If I'm in the bottom of the page, in the footer, if you go to the page numbering, if you go into here and into the bottom of page, you can see there's so many different things that you can use. And this is the one that you can use for page of pages. So this will automatically do what you wish, but obviously we have to manipulate it and we have to make it work with the document. As we have in here, we've got this page 18 of 18 starting on the second page. And then we've got different page numbering, and we've sectioned that off with a section break next page. Whereas if we look up here on this one, these have got, that's got a section break because it's starting the new numbering on the next page here. And if we go up, these have all got page breaks. So page breaks just keep it nice and neat, but they don't affect the pagination or page numbering. They will let it continue and be linked to the previous. So page numbering can get tricky. We'll have a look at it more as we go through. But what I'd like to look at are those sections and those breaks. So I'm just going to come out of the document and we're going to look at section breaks. So in here, as I've just said, we've got these page breaks, and these, if we go into the layout tab, you've got all your breaks here. So there's your page breaks and there's your section breaks. So they're putting there quite clearly what they are. This is used for columns. This is used for different text wrapping. So when your text goes onto the Word document, it's automatically wrapped across the page unless you change it with text wrapping or columns, whereby it will wrap like a column instead. Marks the point where one page ends and the next page begins. So this really does do this part here where you're not doing enter, enter, enter to get onto the next page, so you can have your next headings, etc. Then the next page here, this is about sectioning a next page, and it starts a new section off. So this was where we saw, if we just jump it over here into appendices, this is what we're using here, this type of section break. So what we're doing is we actually are breaking the sections between them, and that's because we changed the page numbering, as you can see from earlier. If we look at the first one here, we've gone from the 18 of 18, pages of pages, X of Y, and we've jumped now to just pagination that individually puts those pages in for appendices, appendix A, B, C, as we've got down here, and it continues. They've all got their section break next page. The continuous break is really useful, and we're going to be using that when we use it for the landscape. So continuous pagination, that break will allow us to continue with the page numbering, but isolate that page off and change it to the orientation of landscape. So really useful tips there on how to use section breaks, and get to know them. You can read about them as you do, but to actually use them and see what happens is a better way of understanding, I think, of what you're trying to do. And if it works, then you can maybe just make sure that you learn that and keep doing it. If it works, stick to it. The next area we're going to look at are headings. Really important with regard to putting in the automated features that you will definitely need to use in your projects or dissertations or long documents. They're called so many different things, but we're talking about projects today. Good way of jumping around the document: Control and Home takes you to the start, Control and End on your keyboard. Lots of other ways of doing it, and also we're using this way of doing it as well, this page numbering, so we can jump around and I can click straight onto the area where we have our table of contents. I'll go back to the Home tab and I'll take the Show and Hide off because it can get a bit annoying, and I'm just going to up the page a little bit so you can see. Now this has got a template in it already, and it's telling you at each stage what it is expected in there, what you're supposed to be putting in there, if you like. So it's a really good guide. You can do your own if you want to, but I'm definitely going to show you how to put these in, and how you can use different ways of doing it. But you can just use the straightforward template here. So the first thing is that we would take this here, and we're going to look at these headings. So these have to have headings in order to be included in the automated features table of contents. So here's a heading here. We're clicking the first one, and on the styles area just up here at the top, right above, there's a little launcher. I always use the launcher because it's a really good way of being able to see everything without having to drop down, etc. And you can see all the headings clearly. So we can see this is a UN heading 1. If we scroll down, and that one's a heading 1. That one, heading 2. So it's quite intuitive. It is what it is. And then obviously we've got our heading 3. And you can see that we're using the, if we look up here, we've got the multi-level list. That's what we're using, this sort of style in the document. So those headings work okay. And all those headings have been put into the table of contents. So if we were going to go up and take the table of contents out, so if we highlight all the way down, you may notice again that this is grey. So these are hyperlinks, if you like. If I just hover on that 2 there, you can see that they have control click. So they will, before we do delete it, let's just try it. So we go on there and it takes you to wherever it is you want to go in your documents. That's another really useful way of going to something and finding it and then getting there quickly and then updating something that you wish to work on. So back into here, highlight the table of contents. Really easy to pop these in. So we just delete it. There it is. So you place in your cursor, you've got your references tab. Now your references tab will have the table of contents here in the far left hand side right at the top. And you'll have other things that we're going to be using too. You've got the bibliography, so you've got the bibliography styles that might change according to different schools, APA, and I think it's a Coventry University one. So that might help with building your bibliography, but most people are using things like references and stuff like that at the library, so it might be worth just sticking to that. But the areas we are going to use as well is this insert caption and insert table of figures. So they're the areas. We've got the table of contents over here. We've got the inserts of the automated features, captions and table of figures. So we're going to put a table of contents in. So we drop this down. I'm not going to use these set ones that are here. I'm just going to go straight into custom table of contents just down here. And this gives you a bit more leeway in how you want it to look. So you might have it coming from a classic template. You might have leader dots, but we're not. We're just going to go with the normal template as it is, as it would come up, and then just click on OK. And then replace the table of contents, yes, because it was already done. And then it would go in just like that. So it would be taking on all of your headings and your styles if that's what you want to do. Then if we were thinking about putting in the next one, the table of tables, you have to, if you think about the heading, so our table of contents here has the heading of UN heading 1. So if I pop in here and I put table of figures, it's our first one. Make sure your spelling's right, and table of tables. And you could highlight those, and then you can go down and you can find your heading. The UN heading comes down alphabetically all the way down here.